Welcome back to the Raika Show, where we take technology and turn it into pop-up video.
Huh?
What? Nothing. All right, so today we are exploring this phenomenon that has us in a quandary. Let's see how many big words we can use in this episode. So there's this phenomenon where now the JavaScript we all know and love and have been using for several decades is now being referred to as VanillaJS. Yes?
Did you know that started as a joke?
Well, it sounds like a joke to me because it's just JavaScript.
No, but it started as VanillaJS. The new, let's see, what is it? Is a fast, lightweight. There you go, Grant. Lightweight, cross-platform framework for building incredible, powerful JavaScript applications. If you go to vanilla-js.com, you can download it. It's like
what are you downloading?
Just a file that says insert your code here. But you can customize that on the website. You can check off checkboxes for prototype-based object system, animations, regular expressions, AJAX, event system.
Oh my God, I love this even more.
You check all those, you get a zip file, and you unzip the zip file. It's one file that says insert your code here.
Oh my gosh, I love this. I love this.
Yeah.
So how did it go from being a joke to like people are now using this as like...
Because there's enough dumbasses out there that thought that was a real thing.
Well, because there's enough people that now equate JavaScript with, of course, a specific framework or the family of frameworks that are being mostly used. And it's funny because today I just saw on LinkedIn, I won't mention the name, but senior software developer at some company. And, it wasn't 5 years ago that I was watching him do a Node.js project that there was absolutely no code written for, but it had 43,000 files in it from all the libraries that were being included. And when he wrote his first code, I just was, and I know we can't get into specifics, but you almost have to with code to be like, look how bad this is. Yeah. Look how this is going to fail in an infinite number of ways. And it's, it's a 40-line function that should really be an array and one line of code. And this guy's a senior, but, he grew up on frameworks, on cutting and pasting from tutorials.
He's a glue stick.
And,
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think there was a period here over the last decade where you could make a career out of that, and I think that's falling to the wayside again, to where there's so much going on that frameworks can't possibly keep up. You really can't, and I think that having that knowledge underneath the VanillaJS knowledge is becoming important again, more important again than it has been for a while. I think there's people who have started their careers from tutorials and knowing how to, all the libraries that are out there, and they're probably running into situations now where, oh crap.
Yeah, I've come up against this wall of
Angular
this only
doesn't do
goes
this.
so far.
React doesn't do this.
Yeah.
How do I do this?
Yeah.
I don't know how to find out how to do this because I haven't actually solved problems with code.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've glued code together.
Yeah. So, all right.
Glue stick, that's
Glue
your
stick.
term.
Yeah.
They're just, they're overpaid glue sticks.
Yeah.
All they know how to do is glue framework code together. They don't actually, they think they know the language.
Yeah.
But also back to your earlier point, it drives me crazy when people say you need to know JavaScript and Node. Well, Node is JavaScript.
Yeah.
It's just an implementation of JavaScript.
Yeah.
They're not, but people do that all the time. I know Node and I know JavaScript. Okay, well, JavaScript on a server.
Yeah.
And that is called Node.
And what's funny if a developer's telling you I know Node and I know JavaScript, probably you're going, wait.
Yeah.
What? Okay.
Yeah.
And I do client-side programming. And I do web stuff.
Right.
Gosh, we're just dissing the shit out of the people who are
We
into
are.
this stuff. But
sorry, guys. So what I wonder is this VanillaJS? I mean, it started out as a joke, but now people are like
It's a
talking
thing
about
now.
this
Yeah.
like it's a thing, right? So is this a reaction to, we've talked about this a few times before, where right now, especially in the Denver metro area, but in a lot of major metro areas in the United States, there is a negative unemployment rate in development, in technology, specifically in software development, which means if you have a pulse and you can print hello world,
right,
you probably have a decent paying job right now. All of these frameworks, I feel like, have arisen out of this need to quickly onboard people because we have all these projects and we have all this work and we don't have enough people to fill all of it. And so I think we're about to hit a peak in that. I feel like, we're peaking, okay? Mm-hmm. And the other side of the peak is none of us will have a problem finding a job because
we know JavaScript.
Yeah. And you don't actually need all of the cruft, like you were saying, the 43,000 files, and I actually have no business logic and nothing's happening yet. We don't need all that. We actually can just start with an empty JavaScript file and make business logic and make value.
I mean, it's, obviously you want to use stuff that's already been done when you can, but, none of us buys that, why reinvent the wheel? You should use a framework. For so many reasons that we've gone over before. But yes, if you can't solve all the problems with a framework and you don't come to the table with the knowledge yourself of how to work on it, then what do?
Yeah.
You just go back and say, sorry, we just can't add that feature. We just can't do that.
Pick something else, end user.
But somebody else has done that already. Why can't you do it? Well, because I don't know VanillaJS. I wasn't trained in that.
I don't know how. Yeah, I mean, they won't say that, but they should. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
Can't be done in the framework, and I don't know how.
VanillaJS is literally... Okay, so JavaScript has rebranded itself. VanillaJS, right?
I wouldn't say JavaScript has rebranded itself. I think there's people out there that have rebranded it.
Exactly my point. So let's look at another...
It's branded many ways now, though, with
it is.
ES6, ECMA,
So let's look at another one of these. There's this new word out there. If you haven't heard it, you should go look it up. It's called JAMstack.
You gotta do that to jam. I don't know if the cameras can see us, but yeah.
What's old is new.
So JAMstack is JavaScript, APIs, and markup as a stack.
Which is the web.
Which is the internets, the interwebs. This is, I mean, it's like rebranding. I don't even know.
2006 called.
Yeah, and they want their technology back.
Yeah, I mean, there seems to be an important component in that JAMstack that people usually references. They want continuous deployment as part of this, but to me, that's like continuous deployment.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter whether you're using JavaScript or Ruby on Rails.
No.
But that always seems to be part of this discussion. But I hear these arguments, the same arguments over and over about, well, you don't have to do any database programming, so it's much faster. Well, if you're calling an API, there's a database query going on.
Somebody did it, and
it's taking exactly the same amount of time to do the work. In fact, maybe a little more because you're proxying a call.
And if you aren't calling your own API, you're depending on somebody else building an API that you need for functions that you need to have done. And so you, again, are running up against, oh, wait, their API doesn't do that. Well, now what?
And I mean, to be fair, there's lots of APIs that you can use and you should use if that's what if they provide information that you need. But to make it sound like, because we're only using APIs to get our data, which, by the way, most single page client apps have been doing now for 5-6 plus years.
The web.
The single page application. I guess it was 2012 or so that I was first introduced to that term, and that's exactly what that was. JAMstack emphasizes specifically there will be no server page work. You will not build the HTML on the server before it's sent to the browser to be displayed. But again, you go all the way back to 2001 and 2099. I mean, that was the first web programming there was static HTML. There was no, then they had CGI scripting where you wrote it in C and called it from CGI. So server pages was, not the first thing on the web. The hard-coded HTML was. And that's what they're talking. JAMstack, it's this new modern development. It's like, no, that's what the first web programming exactly was. You're just saying, making a hard and fast rule that you're not going to do any. But then again, in the JAMstack, I have read that it's okay to call an API that returns HTML. Or you're going to rebuild, and even if it doesn't, even if it only returns JSON, you're rebuilding portions of your page based on that data, which of course you would do.
Yeah.
So it's really, how different is it? Why is this considered to be new? Why does it get a new name when it's web programming?
Yeah.
It's just so funny that there's a lot of people now that are coining terms, thinking that they've encountered something new because they just haven't even been in the business long enough to know we were doing that 20 years ago.
And I think that's the point. We've talked about this before, which is, I just lost my train of thought.
I know we all of our heads.
I'll stop to look at David.
And so the point being, we were talking a couple episodes ago about advanced education, degrees, whatever, and being important. And what we came to was, it's not actually the degree itself, it's getting the education. So because I don't necessarily have to work with people who are really well versed in all these technologies, I can just go out on the web and learn some tutorials and figure some stuff out and call myself a developer and get a job doing that. Now we're reinventing technology that's existed since the beginning of time on the internet.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So since this is a thing now, we are coining a term. We're going to figure out what it is right now. JS.
I think that may already be a thing. Let's find out.
Is it Oh, we're going to find out. You're going to watch how a term gets coined and branding happens right here.
JS, web apps with a sweet taste.
Oh, and what is it?
Is an experimental full stack Node.js web app framework built using CoffeeScript, but it's not lightweight. So
why wouldn't that be Espresso.js?
But CoffeeScript is JavaScript, right? It's
it is
transpiled,
transpiled into
which is
JavaScript.
a whole other stupid, silly word being created. So you're writing a framework in CoffeeScript to run JavaScript. I just want to say about so much of this is why?
Why?
What do you get out of this?
I get the women.
I've seen these guys. They don't get the women.
CinnamonJS.
CinnamonJS.
All right, let's find out.
Let's find out.
How do you spell cinnamon?
CINNAMON. Cinnamon.
MISSISS.
IPPI.
God, there's a CinnamonJS.
A data-driven approach to E2E testing, end-to-end.
Like, we can't even say end-to-end. It's E to E. I mean, they're both one syllable. How lazy has software gotten?
That's quite the time saver on that. E to E.
Yeah, E to
B to
E.
B.
B to B.
SaaS.
Let's do Husky.js because
why
not?
There's a package.
There is an NPM package, yeah.
For Husky.js?
Husky.
Yeah.
Husky.
Haskell-like interpreter. Huh.
Yeah, Husky.
Anyway,
what about NeapolitanJS?
I mean, that's funny because VanillaJS started as a joke, and now you've got
All
a
these
whole bunch
other
of things
things.
created off of a joke.
And they're all frameworks. That's what's so funny.
And they're created from essentially what was a tongue-in-cheek joke.
Yeah? What is Neapolitan?
NeapolitanJS is not a thing.
Okay, we're
seemingly.
coining it. NeapolitanJS. Learn freaking code, people.
Learn how to do your job. Learn
Learn
the fundamentals.
Code.
Learn the fundamentals.
Learn the fundamentals.
Then if you want to move on to a
Because
framework, you're
fundamentally,
fine.
if you can't write the fundamentals, then you fundamentally don't fundamentally code.
Synergism.
NeapolitanJS. Fundamentals.
Because if you know VanillaJS, then you can sit between the strawberry.
See,
and
I was thinking, okay, this is going to go totally different direction, which is why this is the Raika Show and not our other podcast personality that is much more PC, but I was thinking if VanillaJS is sort of like, whatever, ChocolateJS is like the one we use for like porn.
So you can only use ChocolateJS for building porn sites? Okay.
And specifically like
VanillaJS, JS, baby. He's actually playing at the Grizzly Rose tonight.
Is he really?
Yes.
Really? He's in town?
Oh my God.
I thought he built houses now.
He does. He has that reality TV show where he's flipping houses in Florida, which is like so cool. Have you ever seen it?
Mm-mm.
It's incredibly entertaining, and he does a fantastic job.
Really?
Yes. His style and sensibilities are actually really good for these houses. It's kind of amazing. And like you'll see, he'll like be looking at different stuff, and he'll be like, not that one and not that one. I'm like, why not those? Like, I want him to talk
So
more
when the
about,
record producer said, "Don't quit your day job," he was like, "Okay.
I won't.
See, my story about that is I worked at Walmart in like 1991, 92 when he first hit it big, and I'd never heard of him. Some kid comes in, he's like, "Do you guys have the Vanilla Ice record?" And I was like, "We don't carry ice cream." Because back then Walmart didn't carry ice cream.
Oh my gosh. Now
kid looked
every
at me
store
like,
carries
"What?"
everything. That is hysterical. Do you have the Vanilla Ice record?
Yeah.
We don't have ice cream.
And he said record. He may have said tape.
Tape.
Do you have the Vanilla Ice tape?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so the fundamentals have gone the way of cassette tapes and records and the manual transmission.
Yeah, that one's sad.
I'm
It is
picturing it as
sad.
that monolith from 2001: Space Odyssey, with everybody just kind of like, and it's going, oh, and the monkeys are,
Oh, wait.
That's all the framework monkeys.
Wait.
Uh-oh.
And then that gets into history of the world, right? Aren't like in the beginning they're all like the gorillas like
Yeah,
humping?
evolution.
Yeah. Which gets right back to ChocolateJS.
Yeah, somehow.
It all comes together. It all comes together. It always does. I don't know why you guys don't trust me.
No. Inspired by Eddie Murphy, sexual chocolate JS.
Sexual ChocolateJS.
That boy's good.
That boy's good.
Mic drop.
What did he say? That boy's good. You a damn fool.
All right. On that note,
Well, this
I
has
believe
been
that JS is our future.
learn it well and let it lead the way.
Anyway,
Yeah, I lost it. All right, so this has been useful for absolutely nothing, but we've had a really good time. And Grant said because he drove all the way down here, we should do this topic. And so we've done it now.
And now we all regret it.
And now we're thinking, what were we thinking?
What were we thinking? Learn the language, people.
Learn the language. NeapolitanJS, fundamentals.
we're good enough, we're smart enough, and gosh
And
darn
And
it,
gosh, we like
people
us.
like
People
us.
like us.
All right, for Grant, Daryl, and Cynthia from Raika
And
Technologies.
Stuart's Molly.
And Dr. Opperman, who's just fantastic at like the worst timing ever.
Why is there a sculpture of a monkey taking a shit on your piano?
Anyway, cut.
This has been the Raika Show. We'll see you guys later.